なーにみんな楽しんじゃって。私に内緒でお祭り。
三鴨さん、早く呼びかけ。
Hi there everyone, Lars back with another review and analysis for episode 10 of Mysterious Disappearances, brought to you by Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends, and in this week's episode, they finally deal with the murderous mermaid. Or as we come to find out, she really doesn't mean to be all that bad, she's just doing what she's supposed to. Only she's doing it way too well, while trying to reach the one person who needs her the most, the one who created her. So diving right into the events of this episode, Ren, Oto, and Sumireko go to the hospital to find out what the heck has been going on. Going to, at least as far as Oto knows, the source, or at least one person who knows of where all of this trouble has been coming from. One of the biggest fans of the cute little mermaid, Yoramoon. Well, when they get there, things are looking pretty bad. The desire for this VTuber idol to return is really the only thing that Oto's little friend is living for. The spell has been working all too well to motivate her. She's become addicted to the story. She's become addicted to the character. She's become addicted to the praise, and she's only working on this thing because it gives her so much happiness. It gives her so much fulfillment, but she's putting in too much heart and soul, and it is literally killing her. Well, Ren has a brilliant plan to write over the source of the curiosity, and coming to find out that the tablet the girl is using, it can be used as a medium through which they can summon the mermaid. So by putting on a special puzzle grid that will get the mermaid lost, he hopes to seal her away for good. However, things begin to get a little bit dicey, and then Unami-sensei shows on up with a friend that she made when she was recovering in the hospital from the second curiosity in the series. We are introduced to a brand new character, Mikamo, a woman who has since about 11-12 years old been suffering from a horrible neurological disease which is causing her body to grow old and atrophy long before its time. She's dying. And as a young woman, she found that she could in part live one of her dreams of being an idol through being a VTuber. And she is the voice and the inspiration behind this mermaid, Yoramoon. And she's only quit because, well, she's dying. She won't be able to do this much longer. Better to go off on a high note than to just pass away and ruin everything for all of her fans. But as a result of doing that, I mean, a lot of people do feel really sad that she's going, but she feels like she has let herself down as well. And it's not just the fans who are empowering the mermaid, Yoramoon, but it is her. Mikimo's also the one who is empowering this curiosity. This requires, then, that Ren and friends lead a special kind of procession to see the mermaid off. And he even comments saying, this is actually what we do for a lot of our spiritual festivals, a lot of Shinto rites, where we encourage the spirit or god to come to a particular area. They then possess a person or an object, and then the priest or priestess will then lead this spirit through the crowd of admirers who are there to give them gifts, give them faith, give them love, and then see them off to the next stage of their journey. What they need to do is create a special stream that everyone will come onto, that then they will open it up for Yoramoon to come and kind of possess the stream, and then the priestess in question will be the woman who created her, Mikamo. And it all works out fairly well, except for a little bit of a hiccup when Yoramoon shows up and begins really exerting her influence on the whole scene, because she realizes they're trying to get rid of her and she can't go just yet until she has fulfilled her purpose. Unami-sensei manages to step in and save everyone from getting drowned by licking the elements of Yoramoon herself and causing her to feel the karma backlash of everything she's been doing. And she wakes up to the fact that I've been hurting so many people. And that's not what I was supposed to do. She goes into the stream and is then able to finally communicate with her maker and have a very positive conversation that allows them to have closure. This is why I came into being. I am here to help you. And for the creator to say, you helped me out so much by just letting me have the chance to be this. And I now am truly fulfilled that I can say goodbye to you in person, and that I can make sure that everyone who loved you and who loved my voice has a positive farewell. And thus the curiosity's purpose is fulfilled, and Yoramoon leaves and flies off into the sky. As such, this episode is definitely one of the more positive of the mysteries that are experienced throughout this entire series. It has really the happiest ending of them all. Sure, Mikamo is going to eventually pass away from her disease, but this is all about coming to terms with that, which she does. And sure, Ren and Oto aren't going to be able to walk away with a new curiosity, a very powerful one to exchange to get back on home, but sometimes it's someone else's needs that are more important than your own. And again, overall, I think everyone comes to a very happy conclusion by the end of this story. It's sad to see someone go who you love so much. It's sad when something that you've loved for so much, like a great story or show or franchise, comes to an end. But eventually everything does come to its end. And what matters is that the ending is fulfilling, that is positive, and that it leaves you in such a way that you can move on to the next thing. In terms of writing advice that I could glean from this episode, well, I actually really don't have all that much. Instead, I wish to share the creator's experience. Again, I really love the series of Mysteries, Maidens, and Mysterious Disappearances, the manga, and I've been enjoying the anime adaptation as such because it is a story about creators and the journeys that they go on. If you actually want something that goes into way more depth than what we get here in this episode, that actually really expounds on the process of being a creator, of dealing with your creations as they actually take on real life and seeing where all of that goes, I would highly recommend the anime Recreators. It's a little bit older, but it is fantastic. But in this episode, we get something that a lot of creators have gone through, where you have a project that you dedicate your entire life to for the time that you're working on it. You absolutely love it, but then the end comes, either because you finish your project or because life gets in the way or the desire to finish it vanishes for whatever reason. But oftentimes, it's not the love that disappears. Many creators feel sad if they're not able to finish a project. There is a sense of longing, a desire to go back. And here in this episode, we have a creator, Mikamo, being able to meet Yoramoon and find that closure, find a way of finishing on their terms. And this might seem really meta, this might seem really silly, but for many creators, for many story writers, the things that we create really do come to life for us. This is one of the reasons why I say that your stories need you, because you give them life. But as they take on a life all their own, they give you, the creator, even greater insights, greater fulfillment, greater passion, greater understanding of yourself and of the world that you inhabit. The relationship between the creator and the creation should be a positive one. It can take negative turns, like what we see here in this episode. And when that happens, it's something that should be resolved, not something that's just simply thrown away. Because as we see in Mysterious Disappearances, if you simply throw away something that you can't quite fully come to terms with and resolve on your own, it takes on a nightmarish life all its own. And while it might not literally hunt you like what we get here in the anime, it can plague you. It can cause you to doubt later on down the road. It can make you wonder if you are even good enough to continue on. Should you continue to follow your passions and your dreams? This is what defeat can do to you. This is what happens when you let go of a project that you really loved, or a project that you really love just for whatever reason doesn't come together in the end. This doesn't mean that you need to go through and finish every single work in progress that you have in your back catalog. For many of you, you won't be able to ever do that. But instead being able to come to terms with the stories that you're unable to finish, or being able to finish them in the way that you really enjoy, even if they never see the light of day. being able to come to terms with your shortcomings, with your failures, and being able to move on is a necessary quality for all creators. And it's an incredibly positive one to cultivate as well. And that's something that I highly encourage you to do. If you feel defeated by your own stories, by your own projects, take some time with them. You don't need to finish them, but you can say goodbye in a very positive way. Sometimes the stories that you don't finish come to life again in other stories that you write later on. Or sometimes you are able to finish that story and feel all the wonderful fulfillment that comes with it. Other times you finish a story or a project that you intended to, and it's great and it's wonderful, but then you feel just this hole in your heart, the sense of longing. You want to continue on with the adventure. Don't overtax that story or that idea by just continuing with it for the sake of continuing a journey that you've already completed. Take that love, that longing, and turn it to other projects. I'm very certain that you will find something new to fall in love with, and you will love that finished project even more because you kept it pristine. You kept it the way it was meant to be, and you didn't beat it like a dead horse into glue. And this is, again, why I feel like the messages, the thoughts, and the themes that are contained within this show, even if it isn't the perfect adaptation of a good mystery horror story like what you get in the manga, it still conveys the important messages, or it gets you to think on these important ideas, just like what you get in the manga. And that is the real value of this show. Because it's not just simply a story of a cute apartment wife. She's not really an apartment wife, but of Sumi Reiko and Ren going about doing their thing. It's not just that, but it is a story that is a nod and a love letter in many ways to creators all over the place and the creative processes that they struggle with. It doesn't come across in every single mystery and arc, but it's in these particular stories, like with Yoramoon, or at the beginning with the Waters of Life, and with other stories that you're going to get pretty soon on in the manga. They are the ones that say, creators, we know what you're going through, and we're here for you. And so with that being said, we here at Camille's Harem are here for you as well. If there's anything that you would like for us to talk about in terms of good, solid writing advice, something that you have been struggling with, please let us know in the comments. I'm thinking that we really need to get back kind of to the nuts and bolts of what we do here at Camille's Harem, which is helping other people learn how to write stronger and better stories. Not just simply doing reviews, analyses, and high-minded idea videos, because writing is a struggle and it's something where you sometimes need some good, concrete, direct advice, and we'd like to be able to give that to you. Also, if you're looking for great stories that have nothing to do with Hollywood's lack of creativity or the really weird pendulum swing against that, which also lacks a lot of creativity, or if you just need something new, you need a good book to tear into, we've got a whole bunch of them. Links for a whole bunch of new books for you are in the description below. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us on this incredible adventure that we call writing, and until the next video, y'all, watch out for VTubers coming to life, because that might be a little bit scary, could be a little bit cursed, and tschüss.
Bye.